Hi, I'm Anastasia Muñoz, and I am a theater maker and an arts educator and arts entrepreneur. I started my career as an actor and continue to act to this day. I've also been a director, a producer, costume designer, choreographer, you name it. I love teaching theater, still teaching theater to this day, and I am the founder and artistic director of Arts Mission Oak Cliff here in Dallas. I am from Dallas, this is where I grew up, and then had the great pleasure of going to the University of Alabama, Roll Tide. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. A little bit about me at Theater Tuscaloosa. While I was in college, I went and did a production of Proof that Tina directed, and it was awesome because it was a very small cast and I had not done much other work professionally or outside of college shows. And honestly, at that point in my college career, I was still kind of in the background, and if I was getting cast, I was just, maybe the best friend, maybe. And so it was really neat to have the opportunity to be in a small ensemble, work really closely with Tina, who I really looked up to, who was also happened to be my teacher at the time, one of my professors. And she and I just had a really great relationship, and we'd been working through some physical theater together, and we were just really connecting. So it was awesome to have this actor-director relationship where, we just kind of could read each other's minds and do our work collaboratively like that. So Proof was awesome. I had a great time. And it was my first time to be in a theater that big and that professional. So it was really my first taste of the professional theater life. After I graduated from U of A, I moved back to Dallas with the hopes of, saving up some money and building up my resume, and then moving to the coasts, New York or LA, figuring it out. That didn't actually happen until I was 29 years old. Finally felt like I was ready. I became a part of the Actors Union. I had a pretty great resume. I'd worked really well in Dallas, and I'd saved up enough money finally to go off and figure out where I was going to be and see if I really wanted to be a professional actor out in New York or LA. And went to New York and realized very quickly that there's a reason you go to New York when you are a young human, because I had grown accustomed to a certain lifestyle back home, and now that I was about to be 30, I didn't know if I could live with a bunch of roommates and start from ground zero again and, tough it out. I'd gotten too comfortable, But while I was in New York, I realized that in Dallas, through my theater career, I had done enough work and made enough money being an actor and a teacher to save up to take a year off and figure out what I wanted to do in New York or LA. So that was pretty cool. But also, I recognized that there was this great need in my community in Dallas for space. And so I had this idea to create an artist co-op space where maybe a theater troupe or two or a dance company and a visual artist or a musician, we could all come together and maybe pool our money and have one space that we could all share and work out of. And I was seeing this model working pretty effectively in New York. They had some co-working spaces. This was as co-working spaces were just starting out. And then of course they had, rehearsal rooms that you could rent out by the hour and rehearse in them. And of course the need for space in New York is a little different than the need for space in Dallas, and I'm sure different than the need for space in Tuscaloosa. But I thought something like that might work. And so I decided to move back to Dallas and see if I could keep acting, doing that thing, and see if I could also create space. And who knew? I mean, I was just an artist. I didn't have any money. So, why not? Really, the only theater training that I received at the University of Alabama. I loved to study. I was at the University of Alabama on a full scholarship. So I loved to study. I really kind of took matters into my own hands. I really helped flesh out the Alpha Psi Omega and I was able to take guerrilla theater with my friend Steven Tyler Davis. We were able to take guerrilla theater to the next level and kind of get the taste of creating our own theater company through that. And so my theater training, when I got out of school and moved back to Dallas, and I was comparing my skills and what I had learned to people graduating with other theater degrees, and I was like, oh, wow, like I don't think I know that much. But that's okay. What I did know was how to be self-sufficient, how to manage my own time, how to go after something I wanted, whether I knew how to do it all the way or not, which I think is a great skill to have, and a great appreciation for the classics. That was one thing I got out of the department, and I was like, I don't know anything about contemporary theater. I was cheated. I was robbed. That's not the case. I love doing classic theater now. That is probably my claim to fame in the theater world, and I am not mad about it. And now I have filled in my contemporary theater education since then and continue to do so. Speaking of claim to fame, my biggest claim to fame, legit, you guys, if you Google me, which go ahead, do it. My biggest claim to fame is my anime career. And I knew nothing about anime when I got into it. Still don't know all of that much, but there is a studio here in Dallas, or just outside of Dallas, called Funimation Entertainment. And they get a great chunk of the Japanese cartoons that come to the US to be dubbed. There's a couple other studios around, but one of the big ones is Funimation. So a lot of Dallas actors tend to make their way over there at one point or another. And the way I got in, and a lot of people want to know this because anime fans are super fans and they're really devoted, and they all want an opportunity to do this because it seems relatively easy, right? That is not necessarily the case. However, around 2008, I was doing a play with a good actor friend of mine, and he just casually mentioned to me, like, do you know anything about anime? And I was like, nah. And he was like, cool, that's great. Do you want to come do some walla for me? And I was like, yeah. What's walla? So walla is basically the background noise in a cartoon scene. And so like if the main character is walking through a marketplace, you might hear like, oh honey, don't grab that orange, we haven't bought it yet. Filling in. So when you go into the sound booth, put on your headphones, they beep you in, and then you just start improvising, basically. Like they give you the setup and you'll do a couple of passes. Like in that instance, I was the mom. I might be the kid in the next one. You're usually in there with a bunch of people, not so much now in COVID times, but that was then. They bring you in, you just do a bunch of improv, they mix all those voices together, and it kind of becomes a like in the background of the market scene or whatever scene it is. So he asked me to come do that. I did that a few times, and then they were like, oh, and would you be interested in auditioning? I was like, yes. And I totally understand how the auditioning works because I've been doing it for theater, right? And I was like, I'll do this, I'll get a call back, blah, blah, blah. I auditioned probably 40 times before I even booked one of those shows. And not for lack of trying. It's just a different world. It's not theater necessarily, and the people who select who plays each part, there's a lot of factors that go into that. Not just like, ooh, I like her, she's the best actor for the job. It's like, how much do you sound like the original Japanese voice actor? Does this fit with the rest of the actors? All the things that go into casting a play or a movie, but now for a cartoon that already has been produced in Japan. So all these elements go into play. And I slowly started booking some small characters. It is, just like any acting career, you can go from being Walla in the background to playing a leading part right back down to supporting character the next time, if you get anything at all, right? There's no stair step your way all the way up to the top, like, I don't know, in some other career, maybe in a corporate world. Yeah, that's not part of it. So that's how I got into anime. And now I've been working there for, don't make me do math on the fly, a long time. And if you Google me, you will see I have over 100 credits to my name. Some of my best, most memorable roles would be Mina in Strike Witches and Minerva Orlando in Fairy Tale. And then Coco Hekmatyar in Jormungand. That's the one and only lead I've ever played in a series. And she was a bad A, y'all. If you are interested at all in some anime or action or, bad A feminine heroes, check her out. Jormungand is the name of that. I bet I'll have a picture up there of her. So I touched on this a little bit about why I returned to Dallas. I wanted to create this space. And like I said, there was no money. I didn't know what I was going to do, how I was going to make this happen, but I had a dream, and I really started putting it out into the universe. I really started claiming it and framing it and really I was telling people, like, this is what I'm going to do. And lo and behold, a space appeared. This beautiful church, historic, abandoned church in Oak Cliff, which is a very, very cool part of Dallas. We like to call it the Brooklyn of Dallas. And at first I was like, oh no, I don't want a church. That's not what I had envisioned. I wanted like a warehouse space or something like that so that we could really transform it, and we could have studios and we could have rehearsal space. And, I didn't want to have to do a lot of construction to make it a viable space. Well, this space itself has this beautiful sanctuary and stage. And then it also underground has multiple studio spaces. We have a recording studio here, a costume shop, a visual arts studio, co-working spaces, a library, a dance studio, 2 performance spaces / rehearsal spaces. This is one of them. It's truly my dream come true. And so the space needed a lot of work, and it was all moving so fast. I didn't know, like, how could I possibly, make this happen? Well, then I was introduced to Todd and Lola Lott, who are amazing, amazing human beings, and they heard the idea and they thought this was a great investment to make, so they bought the building and restored it, and it is gorgeous. And they believed in this idea so much without proof of concept or anything that they bought in. I worked for Lululemon for a short amount of time, and one of their big questions they like to ask people is, if you had $1 million, what would you do? And you can't give it away or save it or whatever, you have to spend it. What would you do? So this was always my $1 million idea. Then someone literally gave me $1 million. You guys, I did it. This is it. Arts Mission Oak Cliff. Check that out. Google it. Follow us. on the Instagrams, please, at Arts Mission. This space is incredible, and it has been a wonderful sanctuary, literally to many artists across the board. I wanted artists to be able to have a space not only to perform, because there are a few spaces to do that, but I wanted them to be able to create and take risks and rehearse and build their brand, teach classes in their own style and do their own thing. Without the hindrance of maybe a board or anyone telling them what they had to do. Like, you could just come here, pay an affordable rate, and like make your own thing happen. And another reason for it was, in Dallas, we have a lot of talented humans, but a lot of them end up going off to New York or LA or Chicago, and that's great. Those are wonderful places to be, but something that Miss Tina told me that I think is kind of incredible and has really stuck with me is that, sure, you can go to those places and make your art, but they got art there. You know where they might not have as much? Right where you are. Right here in Dallas, Texas, right here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Maybe we need you making art right here. So that is what I wanted to do. I wanted to show so much support for our local artists. Like, your voice is so important right here, right in your own backyard. Please share it. Make your voice heard here, and then go off, and then come back and bring us what you've learned. Any advice I would give to an aspiring actor is take as many classes as you can. Never stop learning. Don't ever feel like, I've made it, I'm done now. No, take classes, work with someone you think is stronger and better than you. Find your mentor, take them to coffee, ask them questions. Continue to thirst for that. If there's a theater company that you admire, or see if you can be an intern, see if you can assist on a show. When I first graduated, I was not getting cast in the theater world. And I was like, cool, that's fine. Guess what I'm gonna do? I am going to be an assistant. I'm going to, anything that they need, I'm going to be there, so that they keep seeing me, and they keep seeing me work hard, and they keep seeing me be passionate. So the next time that a part comes up, they might think to ask me to audition. And sure enough, that is how my theater career has worked here. I got my foot in the door. People knew who I was, kept auditioning, got cast. And then slowly stair-stepped my way up to becoming a member of the union, which is another story for another time. Yeah, what do I wish I knew about the biz? Man, I'll tell you what. 10% has to do with craft and talent. Everything else is business. And if you are not in it to win it for that business side of the game, maybe this is not for you. You have got to constantly be promoting yourself. You've got to constantly be putting yourself out there. Be ready for the rejection. Just keep your reels up to date. Keep hustling. Never stopping. Like, that has got to be your main drive. And every day you're working on your business, which is selling yourself. So yeah, I mean, I wish someone had told me that. I mean, I guess they did, but I didn't really realize that. So that's my one advice. If you want to be a professional actor, I suppose. Here's my other bit of advice. Make your dreams come true. Okay? I am living my best life. This is the life I've always dreamt of, and I more than I dreamt of. I am acting. I'm a mom. I am helping my artist community by running this space. I'm a teacher at a brilliant school with amazing students who are going to go on to be either amazing artists or at least arts lovers. And that is the coolest. I am so happy. And it's not the Broadway star I thought I was going to be. It's better. So that's my other piece of advice, is don't feel like you failed because you aren't what you thought your dream was going to be. Because as you're following your path to your dream, wholeheartedly, another path may arise, but you wouldn't have known that unless you were following your original dream, full tilt. And then you may take this other path, and it may be even better than what you thought. So don't be discouraged. I think there's a lot of people out there that are like, hey kid, you ain't gonna make it. Don't even try. No, do try. Because as you're trying, you might find something better, or you really are gonna make it. So go for it. Lastly, what inspires me? This space, my community, Artist's Way. If you haven't read The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, get you a copy. It seems pretty cheesy at first. I will let you in on that. That's fine. I'll give you that. She wrote it a long time ago. It is life-changing. If you want to be an artist, read that book. I love the classics. I love telling stories. I especially love seeing the world through my son's eyes. It's giving me a whole new perspective on what it is to be an artist. Also, my emotional depth and capacity is next level, y'all. So I'm just really excited to get back into a world where we can make theater again all together and make collaborative art and all of that. That's what inspires me. You inspire me. Go get 'em, Tiger. I mean, roll Tide.